The air feels different tonight. Even the stillness is loud. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle trembling in the fabric of your reality. It's not nerves. It's not coincidence. It's the weight of heaven leaning in. Somewhere in the unseen, the clock just struck an hour. You've been praying for your whole life. You didn't hear a chime, but your spirit did. It was faint, but undeniable, like the echo of a bell that's been ringing since before you were born. Every delay, every closed door, every night where you stared at the ceiling, wondering if you were forgotten. All of it was a setup for this exact second in time. You have not been pacing the floor in vain. You have not been carrying that vision in your chest for nothing. The prayers you thought dissolved into the air, they were stored, filed away in heaven's vault, with your name written on the envelope. The tears you thought went unseen, they were counted, every single one. This is not a random day on the calendar. This is the day that was etched into your destiny before you ever took your first breath. And now, the curtain is rising. For years, you've been in the shadows, rehearsing for something you couldn't fully explain. You didn't know when. You didn't know how. But you knew deep down that there would be a moment when everything shifted. That moment is not coming. It's not around the corner. It's here. Heaven has synchronized the clocks. The enemies that stalked your progress, frozen in place. The allies you need, positioned in your path. The opportunities, opening like gates under divine command. This is why the warfare felt suffocating lately. It was the last desperate push of opposition before the reveal. You are not walking into this moment empty-handed. You're walking in carrying the weight of every lesson, every scar, every hard-earned truth. And that weight is not a burden, it's your authority. You've been hidden for a reason. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted, it goes deep into the soil, where roots grow in secret. You were underground, so your foundation could be unshakable. Now, the soil has broken. The light has touched your face, and heaven is saying, rise. Breathe deep, chosen one. You are stepping into the scene you've dreamed of. The one you saw in flashes while praying, in visions you tried to explain but had no human words for. And this time, you will not flinch. You will not doubt yourself. You will not water down the fire in your spirit to make others comfortable. This is the moment you've been waiting for. And it's not just for you. When a chosen one steps into alignment, entire atmospheres shift. Generational chains start snapping. And the ripple moves far beyond your personal life. So, walk forward like someone heaven has prepared in secret. Speak like someone whose words carry the weight of answered prophecy. Live like someone who understands. This moment is not a coincidence. It is the unfolding of a plan that was always in motion. This is your moment, and nothing, new power, new person, new demon, can take it from you. Do you know what it means when heaven's timing meets your obedience? It means a collision so divine, the earth itself adjusts around you. It means momentum you could never buy, favor you could never negotiate, and doors you could never force open, swinging wide without resistance. This isn't about chance. This isn't about being in the right place at the right time. This is about the creator of time himself, writing your name into the coordinates of destiny. When you think back, you'll remember the seasons that didn't make sense, the invitations you never got, the rooms you were left out of, the promotions you were qualified for but somehow overlooked. It hurt. It made you question yourself. But now, you see it clearly. Those weren't rejections. They were redirections. Had you been handed this moment earlier, you might have wasted it. You might have doubted your ability to carry it. You might have apologized for shining too bright. Not anymore. The fire you've walked through has forged a steel in you that no storm can bend. The wilderness you've survived has stripped you of all illusions, leaving only truth and focus in its place. Now, when you walk into a room, you don't just enter, you shift the atmosphere. Not because of arrogance, but because of the quiet authority that comes from surviving battles no one saw. Chosen one, there are eyes on you right now. Some are watching with hope, ready to follow the path you blaze. Others are watching with suspicion, wondering if you'll really make it. And some are watching with envy, praying silently that you fail. But here's the truth. Heaven is watching too. And heaven's gaze is not passive. When heaven fixes its eyes on you, it's because the next move has already been commanded in your favor. The instructions have gone out. Angels have been dispatched. Resources are on the move. People you've never met are speaking your name in rooms you've never been in. And all of this is happening for one reason. You didn't quit. You didn't let the delay destroy your discipline. You didn't trade the slow, holy process for quick, counterfeit shortcuts. This is what obedience produces. Acceleration without striving. Elevation without compromise. Influence without losing your soul. Now, as the wave begins to swell beneath you, you have one job. Stand. Don't flinch. Don't rush. Don't shrink back to make others comfortable. This isn't the time for false humility. This is the time to carry the mantle you've been entrusted with and let it rest fully on your shoulders. Because when heaven says now, there's no force that can say not yet. This moment is more than an answered prayer. It's the release of a prophecy over your bloodline. Your yes is unlocking blessings that will outlive you. You're not just walking into your destiny. You're setting the stage for those who will follow after you. So, chosen one, lift your head, straighten your back, and step forward with the confidence of someone who knows the author of time has written this moment into eternity. You've been here before, not in the flesh, but in the spirit, in visions that came while you were half awake, in dreams so vivid they felt more real than the daylight, in flashes of déjà vu that left you standing still, whispering to yourself, "I've seen this before." It wasn't your imagination. It was a leak from the future, a divine preview of the scene you're now standing in. Right now, reality feels almost electric. The air around you carries a low hum, a vibration you can't explain but can't ignore. It's the same frequency David must have felt, the moment before the stone left the sling. That quiet intensity before everything changes. It's the same atmosphere Moses stood in, staff in hand, as the Red Sea began to split. Not loud, not chaotic, but charged with the presence of the impossible becoming inevitable. Chosen one. That's where you are. This isn't adrenaline. This isn't wishful thinking. This is your spirit, syncing perfectly with heaven's timetable. The details might be new, the faces, the setting, the opportunities, but your spirit recognizes this moment because it's been here before in the secret place. God showed you pieces of this day so that when it came, you would know it was yours. The enemy tried to steal those visions from you, tried to bury them under disappointment and delay, tried to convince you that you made them up. But still, the images stayed. They hovered in the back of your mind, whispering, "Wait for it. It's coming." And now, here you are. Every attack was designed to make you forget. Every distraction was meant to dilute your focus. But instead, they sharpened you. They made you more precise. They forced you to see what mattered and let go of what didn't. You're not stepping into something foreign. You're returning to a promise. It's been waiting for you, like a room kept locked until the exact moment you were ready to enter. Look at you now. Your hands are steady. Your eyes are clear. Your heart beats in rhythm with the assignment in front of you. This is the moment where prophecy turns into presence, where what you carried in prayer becomes something you can touch, something you can stand in. And yet, the strangest thing is, you're calm. You're not panicking. You're not overwhelmed. Because somewhere deep down, you've always known this day was coming. Others may be surprised. They may wonder how you suddenly appeared in this position. But you know, this was never sudden. This was slow, deliberate, intentional preparation for a divine appointment that could not be missed. Chosen one. This is not the time to question whether you belong here. You've been trained for this. Every trial was your classroom. Every tear was your tuition. And today is the graduation ceremony heaven has been waiting to throw for you. So stand still for a moment. Feel the hum in the air. Breathe in the fulfillment of a promise. Then, step forward, because the rest of the vision is about to unfold before your very eyes. Look around. The room is not full, and that's not an accident. The familiar faces, some are missing. Some walked away before the breakthrough. Some turned their backs when the waiting got too long. And some were never meant to see this at all. Chosen one. Don't misinterpret their absence as loss. It's protection. Every empty seat is a shield over your moment. Every person who couldn't stay was a weight heaven refused to let you carry into this season. You see, not everyone can handle the unveiling of a chosen one. Some would clap with one hand and curse with the other. Some would try to dress their envy as concern. Some would smile for the photo while praying in private that you'd fail. God saw it, so he cleared the gallery before the curtain rose. There's something holy about this moment. The less crowded the room, the more you can hear his voice. The more you can feel the angels around you, standing guard like soldiers on a royal detail. You've been hidden, but not alone. Through the silence, the Spirit has been your closest company. Through the isolation, heaven's armies have been rehearsing your entrance. Right now, as you prepare to step into the fullness of what's been promised, there are forces in motion you can't see. Angels stationed at every door, clearing paths in the unseen, ensuring nothing and no one sabotages what's about to be released. And here's the truth. When God decides it's your time, he doesn't just open a door. He secures the hallway. He posts guards at every entrance. He shuts down distractions before they even get close. That's why certain relationships dissolved without closure. That's why some people simply drifted out of your orbit without a fight. You thought it was strange. You wondered what went wrong, but nothing went wrong. Everything went right. They couldn't be here for this. Not because you hate them, but because they're not equipped to handle the weight of your next chapter. Chosen one, hear me. Your elevation is not just about the platform. It's about the purity of what's being birthed. God will not let contaminated hands touch a holy unveiling. And what's about to happen in your life is irreversible. Once the gates swing open, no man can shut them. Once heaven's trumpet sounds over your life, the echo will reach every corner of your destiny. Some who doubted you will hear it and go silent. Some who opposed you will hear it and be humbled. Some who supported you will hear it and rejoice. But none of them will be able to deny it. This is your coronation, and heaven has ensured that every witness in the room is meant to be there. So stand tall in this moment, without looking back at the ones who left. Their chapter in your story served its purpose. But this page, this spotlight, it's reserved for you alone. Remember the years you thought you were behind? The seasons you looked at everyone else's progress and whispered to yourself, maybe I missed it. Maybe my time passed. Chosen one, you were never behind. You were actually ahead. Because while others were chasing trends and quick wins, you were being anchored in truth that would outlast every fad. The world moved fast, but heaven moved deep. You didn't see the progress at first. Roots never announced themselves on the surface, but under the soil, your spirit was wrapping itself around unshakable foundations. Faith was taking hold. Character was being forged. Vision was being refined. And now, as you step into the light, you are not fragile. You are fortified. You see, this moment, you're walking into, it isn't a handout, it's a harvest. It's the direct result of seeds planted in obscurity, watered by tears, protected by silence. You didn't cut corners. You didn't water down your convictions to fit in. You didn't sell out for temporary applause. And that's why you can stand here now, without fear of being exposed. Because there's nothing fake to uncover. Your preparation was real. Your battles were real. Your growth was real. And because of that, the blessing coming to you won't crush you. It will rest on you. It will work through you. The enemy thought the waiting would wear you down, but it actually built your stamina. It trained you to walk with consistency, even when no one was watching. And now, you are carrying not just your dream, but the blueprint for others to follow. This isn't just about personal victory. This is about legacy. The faith you stood in when it made no sense. It's going to inspire people you'll never meet. The obedience you walked in when no one applauded. It's going to open doors for generations after you. Your yes didn't just keep you in alignment. It set in motion a ripple effect of freedom, impact, and transformation. That's why heaven was so patient with you. That's why God didn't rush the process. Because this wasn't about a quick breakthrough. It was about building a foundation that could hold the weight of what's coming. And what's coming is bigger than you imagined. It's not just the fulfillment of your prayer list. It's the overflow of God's promise. It's blessings pressed down, shaken together, running over. Not for you to hoard, but for you to pour out. So as you step into this moment, remember, you didn't stumble here. You were prepared for here. Every quiet season was a classroom. Every no was a teacher. Every lonely night was an altar. And today, you graduate into the life you were always meant to live. Not as someone lucky, not as someone who just caught a break. Emmer, but as someone who was faithful in the shadows, and now walks, with the authority, to stand in the light. The enemy knew this day was coming. Long before you saw it, long before you felt it, he read the signs in the spirit. That's why the attacks were so personal, why the lies felt surgical, why the betrayals came from people you thought would never turn. It was never random. It was never just life. It was strategic warfare designed to break you before you broke through. Every time you got close to clarity, something came to fog your vision. Every time you gained momentum, something tried to trip you mid-step. And you wondered, why me? Why so much? Why now? Because he saw the writing on the wall before you did. He saw the gates about to open. He saw your name etched on a destiny he could not rewrite. And he trembled, because when a chosen one arrives at their moment, it's never just their life that changes. It's the whole territory. Your breakthrough is not an isolated event. It's a trigger, a spark in the darkness that sets off a chain reaction. When you rise, you drag other people out of pits they didn't know they could escape. When you step into authority, chains on others start to fall without them even knowing why. That's why you were such a high-value target. It's not because you were weak. It's because you were dangerous. Heaven had marked you for influence, and hell doesn't ignore influence. But here's the part the enemy never gets right. Every attack has only confirmed your assignment. Every battle has only built your resilience. Every hit has made you harder to kill, spiritually and mentally. And now, here you are, not limping, but standing. Not bitter, but sharper. Not empty, but carrying more than you had when the fight began. This moment, you're stepping into. Hell tried to block it, but every scheme failed. Every trap was dismantled. Every snare snapped under the weight of the one backing you. Right now, there is a shift happening in the unseen. The enemy's resources against you are drying up. The contracts written against your name in the spirit realm have been canceled. The watchers assigned to study your movements have been blinded. You have outlasted the storm, and storms don't argue with survivors. They move on. Chosen one, this is your moment to stop fighting as if you're still under siege. You are walking into victory ground now, and on victory ground, you don't just defend, you advance. So lift your head. This isn't the hour to hide the light that hell tried so hard to snuff out. This is the hour to let it blaze. Because your rise is not just proof of your survival, it's the signal to every watching eye, seen and unseen, that the plans of God are unstoppable. Do you hear it? It's faint at first, like wind moving through distant trees. But then it grows, layer by layer, until you realize it's the sound of heaven, the applause of saints who ran before you, the roar of angels who have walked beside you in battles you never saw, the steady hum of approval from the one who called you before the world began. They've been watching for this day, not because of the stage you'll stand on, not because of the platform you'll gain, but because of the chains you'll break. This moment is not about comfort. It's not about status. It's about impact, the kind that shakes atmospheres and rewrites the story for people who haven't even been born yet. Chosen one, heaven is not clapping for your arrival into a spotlight. Heaven is celebrating your readiness for an assignment. And assignments, they carry weight. This is not a crown of decoration. It's a crown of responsibility. When God places it on your head, He is entrusting you to carry His heart into places still wrapped in darkness. Every divine moment comes with a mission, and yours is bigger than you think. This is about shaking nations without ever compromising your foundation. It's about pulling people out of pits so deep they've stopped looking for a way out. It's about speaking truth in a world addicted to deception, and doing it with such authority that lies crumble without you raising your voice. When you stand in this kind of calling, your life stops being just about you. Your every step becomes a rescue mission. Your every word becomes a weapon in the spirit. Your every victory becomes a banner for others to rally under. That's why you were hidden so long. That's why your process was so intense. Because you are not a performer. You are a carrier, a vessel, a living testimony that obedience, no matter how costly, produces fruit that feeds multitudes. And the fruit you carry now, it's not just for the people you know. It's for the strangers who will hear your story and suddenly believe they can get free too. It's for the wanderers who will find direction because your life points them to the way. The applause you hear is not the end. It's the beginning of the next race. The baton is in your hand now. passed to you by those who refused to quit, by those who endured their own storms, so you could have a path to run on. So run, chosen one, not with arrogance, but with urgency, not with fear, but with fire, because when heaven cheers, it's not to make you feel important, it's to remind you that the mission you're stepping into is worth every drop of blood, sweat, and tears it took to get here. And when your race is done, you will join that great cloud of witnesses, cheering for the next chosen one to rise. The shift is already happening. You can feel it in the air before you even see it with your eyes. Something is moving toward you, and it's moving fast. Look closely. Doors are swinging open with no human fingerprints. Opportunities are forming without your effort. People you've never met are speaking your name in rooms you've never stepped into. Resources are traveling toward you like rivers drawn to the sea. And here's the truth. You don't have to chase it. When heaven's time arrives, blessing chases you. For so long, you thought you had to grind harder, push harder, prove yourself louder. But this moment is different. This is the moment when your preparation meets God's acceleration. This is the moment when what was once uphill suddenly becomes a divine current, carrying you forward. This is why you had to wait, so that when it came, you would know without a doubt, this isn't my doing. This isn't because I'm clever. This is the hand of the Lord. And because you know that, you will hold it differently. You won't clutch it like something fragile. You'll carry it like something eternal. You'll see it not as a trophy to display, but as a tool to build with. The supernatural has a pattern. First, it shows up in the invisible, in your spirit, in dreams, in visions. Then it leaks into the natural, through coincidences that aren't coincidences, through connections that feel like they were scripted before time began. Right now, you are in the in-between, where what you saw in prayer is starting to knock on your physical door. Pay attention. The little signs are not little. The phone call you weren't expecting. The stranger who confirms something God whispered to you last week. The sudden clarity that erases months of confusion. These are not random. They are the first drops before the downpour. And when the flood comes, you will not be scrambling for shelter. You will be standing ready, hands open, eyes lifted, knowing this is what you've been building for all along. Chosen one. Blessing has momentum. Once it starts rolling, it gathers more than it started with. It attracts. It multiplies. It draws in provision, influence, favor, everything needed to sustain the assignment on your life. But remember, the point is never the blessing itself. The point is what the blessing empowers you to do, how it allows you to reach, heal, and restore what the enemy thought would remain broken forever. That's why God can trust you with it now, because He knows you won't turn it into an idol. You won't use it to build your own empire. You'll use it to advance His kingdom. So don't be surprised when you start recognizing places you've never been, when you meet people who feel like you've known them forever, when the puzzle pieces fit together in ways you could never force. This is what happens when heaven moves. The natural bends to the supernatural, and everything starts to align. Take a deep breath. Let it fill your lungs slowly. Feel the ground under your feet. This moment is sacred. It's not hype. It's not adrenaline. It's the still, heavy presence of God wrapping around you like a mantle. The atmosphere feels different because it is different. You're standing in the collision of prophecy and presence, where the things God spoke in secret are now becoming visible in front of your eyes. The enemy can't touch this. Fear can't dilute it. Doubt can't cancel it. And that's the shift you need to recognize. You've stepped out of the fragile hoping and waiting stage and into the secured it is done stage. What you're carrying right now is not potential anymore. It's reality. It's substance. It's the manifestation of promises that were written long before you even knew to ask for them. The weight you feel in your chest isn't pressure. It's glory. The kind of glory that humbles you and strengthens you at the same time. The kind that reminds you, this is bigger than me, and yet it's been entrusted to me. Chosen one. This is holy ground. And when you stand on holy ground, you can't move the way you used to. You can't speak the way you used to. You can't think the way you used to. You walk slower because you know every step is purposeful. You speak with care because you know your words carry weight now. You think with heaven's perspective because you've seen too much to settle for anything less. This is not the time to shrink back in false humility. This is not the time to second-guess whether you're ready. This is the time to stand firm and understand you were made for this. Every valley you walked through was part of the preparation. Every mountain you climbed taught you how to breathe at high altitudes. Every fire you endured burned away the fear of being seen. And now, you stand here without apology. Not because you're arrogant, but because you know the cost of this moment. When the weight of God's glory rests on you, you don't brag. You bow. You don't flaunt. You steward. You don't cling in fear. You carry it forward with boldness. Right now, in the unseen, there are assignments being handed to you. New territories being marked with your name. Doors in the spirit realm swinging open that will change not just your life, but the lives of countless others. You are not here by accident. You didn't stumble into this moment. You were ushered into it, guided into it, preserved for it. So lift your head, square your shoulders, let the sacredness of this moment sink in, and then step into it fully. Because this is the kind of ground that only appears once in a lifetime. And once you take it, everything will change forever. This is the unveiling. The moment all of heaven has been pointing toward. The chapter your life story has been building to from the very first page. Chosen one, you will look back on this day for years to come and mark it as the moment everything shifted. The day the tide turned, the night broke, the promise became flesh. You've lived in the almost for so long. Almost free, almost there, almost ready. But today, almost has no place here. Today is the arrival. Every battle you fought, every tear you cried, every seed you planted, when no one noticed, they all converge here, in this sacred space of fulfillment. And it's not just about your personal breakthrough. It's about the ripple, the impact that will stretch far beyond your name, your lifetime, your reach. When heaven orchestrates a moment like this, it doesn't just lift you up. It lifts up every person connected to your obedience, every soul who will hear your story and believe again, every heart that will heal because you said yes when it would have been easier to quit. This unveiling is not a random spotlight. It is a divine coronation, not the crowning of a celebrity, but the commissioning of a servant who has proven faithful. You didn't get here by accident. You got here by surrender, by letting God strip away the old you, the small you, the fearful you. And now, what stands here is unrecognizable to the one who first started this journey. Stronger, sharper, rooted in a way that nothing and no one can uproot. People will ask how it happened. They'll look for a strategy, a secret, a formula, and you'll smile, because you know the truth. It wasn't networking. It wasn't hustle. It wasn't luck. It was timing. It was obedience. It was the relentless love of a God who refused to let you settle for less than what he wrote for you. When God says, now, it doesn't matter who said, not yet. When God opens the gate, no man can chain it shut. So here's what you do now. You step without hesitation. You speak without apology. You move without fear. Because this is not the end of the story. It's the turning point. From here, new chapters will be written. From here, new assignments will unfold. From here, the world will see what heaven saw in you all along. Chosen one, this is the moment you've been waiting for. It is not fragile. It will not slip away. It has been secured in the courts of heaven. So take it, carry it, and walk into the future like someone who knows this was not a lucky break. It was a divine appointment that nothing in hell could cancel. So now, here you stand, not in theory, not in hope, but in the living reality of a promise fulfilled. Take a breath, feel it, the stillness after the storm, the quiet hum of alignment, the unmistakable awareness that you are exactly where heaven intended you to be. This is not a dream. It is not a vision. It is the manifestation of every whispered prayer, every long night, every unseen act of faith that seemed too small to matter. The delay was not a denial. It was construction. The detours were not punishment. They were protection. Every unanswered question along the way was God saying, not yet, but soon. And now, soon has become now. Look back for a moment, not to grieve, but to honor. Honor the miles you've walked. Honor the valleys you survived. Honor the fires that refined you. Then, Lift your eyes forward, because this moment is not a finish line. It's a launch pad. From here, you will move in assignments that once felt impossible. Doors that were bolted shut will swing open before you touch the handle. People you've been called to impact will begin to appear, drawn by the light you now carry. Chosen one, this is your moment. Not to keep, not to hide, but to use, to build, to heal, to awaken. You didn't just survive for yourself. You survived so others could see it's possible. So take a deep breath, step forward, and know, this is only the beginning.